The first point that I want to make is I don't think that the average person realizes how groundbreaking Cardano stands to be. Of course, proof of stake, blockchain, ledger, all these different things, dApps, smart contracts, really compiling together to illustrate for us a perfect storm in the cryptocurrency universe. A perfect example is the struggle that we're currently seeing with Bitcoin around the $10,000 the sort of resistance now that sort of seems to be the point. And of course, Bitcoin's sort of circling the wagons now, much like a large proportion of the cryptocurrency space. Essentially now we're getting ready for regulators, we're getting ready for institutions, we're getting ready for the broader crypto space to be sort of adapted by this section of the technological sphere that up until this point really had no interest at all in cryptocurrency. I mean, we have to keep in mind the couple of years ago, we were the community in the cryptocurrency space. It was people like you and me who used the internet. I mean, I'm not sure how many of you are new to this channel or how many of you have been following our content for quite some time, but I remember years and years ago when cryptocurrency was in its more infantile stages, at least in comparison to where it is today. Now, I'm not the first person to buy Bitcoin or anything like that. I mean, obviously there's people out there who are whales grandfathered in just because they've been buying Bitcoin since like 2012 or something like that. Not one of those people, but I have been in the space long enough to see and really get a sense of the significance of smart contracts and a lot of these different culminating variables that'll really be playing an interesting role in the cryptocurrency space. And I mean, just taking a look at Cardano's roadmap, it's very interesting to see, just where we're going, as far as, development platform, multi-asset, ledger with verifiable smart contracts built with the high assurance formal development methods. Cardano aims to achieve the scalability, of course, sustainability, needed for real world applications. And I think the fact that, when we're talking about, Brian, Shelley, and all the way up until Voltaire, it is very interesting to look at where cryptocurrency is going to be naturally taking a very interesting turn as we move forward into this next stage of 2019. For any of you who are interested, make sure that you go and read up on these cryptos. Of course, the Voltaire era of Cardano will provide the final phase required for the Cardano network to become a self-sustaining system with the introduction of the voting and treasury system. Network participants will be able to use their stake and voting rights to influence the future development of the network. For the Cardano network to become truly decentralized, it will require not only the distributed infrastructure introduced during the Shelley era, but also the capacity to be maintained and improved over time in a decentralized way. And right now we're pretty much witnessing the Shelley era, which is pretty key. The decentralization aspect of it, really being an essential, push forward, as far as getting Cardano where we're going to need it to be. For Cardano network to be truly decentralized, it will require not only the distributed infrastructure introduced during Shelley era, but also the capacity to be maintained and improved over time in a decentralized way. To that end, the Voltaire era will add the ability for network participants to present Cardano improvement. So, overall, the point that I'm illustrating by bringing this stuff up, what we need to pay attention to is, all eyes are on 2020, I would say. As far as cryptocurrency and the broader development of the space, we see, Facebook getting ready for their launch. I think that there's really a knowledge behind the scenes that they want to go digital, non pretty much the age of digital currency is pretty much upon us. And I mean, in a certain sense, I mean, it's not necessarily time to wave goodbye to fiat just yet, but I think that we're on the precipice of that sort of paradigm shift. Cardano community celebrates its addition on Binance's margin trading platform. This is pretty big as well. Binance launches its margin trading service on July 11th. Of course, after much speculation and a win-win situation, it announced the addition of Cardano along with Ontology. Of course, congratulations everybody in the Cardano community who's celebrating this move. I mean, it will be pretty interesting. So it will be interesting to see how Binance and all these different things are shaping up, of course, just looking at the cryptocurrency as it's evolved from its investor perspective, and of course now into its next stages where it's being seen as more of a real world aspect. I'm very interested in seeing how Cardano is going to be making its impact on the world stage. In that same aspect, we'll be witnessing some really interesting things happening, really never before seen, in the cryptocurrency space. And it is very interesting just to see how Cardano has been making a lot of these different steps forward, which are really paving the way, I'd say, in a large sense, for the broader cryptocurrency space to really see where we'll be going from this point moving forward. Bitcoin dominance now at 64.3%. Of course, Bitcoin dominance slightly lower, but it's still, when you think about the time frame, I mean, crypto can easily make a full comeback. That's my theory. It could easily make a full comeback in terms of the conversation that's had, but it already in a large sense has made a big comeback. But I'm talking about the mainstream, Joe's at the water cooler. That's sort of secondary compared to what we're seeing, happening with the institutions. I think it's one of the most well-kept secrets right out in the open right now, and it is interesting to see. But yeah, if you guys are interested in connecting with us, you could do so at Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber on Twitter. Always interested in hearing your opinions on these things. Of course, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Obviously this video is not financial advice, so make sure that you guys go and do your own research when it comes to these things. Remember, I'm not your dad. But it is interesting to see how the cryptocurrency space has been making a lot of these different key developments. And I think Cardano is right at the center of a lot of the most amazing things that are happening in the space. And we could see some very interesting things happening, in a short time frame, of course, a long time frame as well. But Cardano versus Ripple, this is the final article that I wanted to bring up. Cardano and Ripple records surge after 2 consecutive days of bearish trend. So it is interesting to see. That's probably one of the most heavily debated things. Whenever I put up a poll on here, there's always the Ripple XRP people and the Cardano ADA people who come out of the woodwork and are always going at it in the comments. But yeah, I think Cardano is more in alignment with the traditional philosophies of what we could expect to see from a cryptocurrency of its kind, and especially as the era continues to progress, towards the various trends that we've cited before. I think we'll be seeing some pretty interesting momentum happening, and I think that both cryptos are interesting to pay attention to, in that context. And when we're dealing with these developing technologies, it's important to keep keep all these things in mind. But all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. I hope you guys subscribe and comment, moon the likes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.